While for the past week, everyone has been talking about DubDub and the new MacBook Air with the M2 processor, I have been thinking about something different. Apple has been tooting their horn about how environmentally conscious their products are for years. But how environmentally conscious are they? Are they greenwashing, or is it actually true? Well, we'll find out today on Jay-Z's. Do well with their environmentally conscious marketing? Well, first, they have a dedicated page on their website specifically about the environment. It talks about how the tungsten in the haptic engine is recycled, how there's no plastic wrap on their boxes, the greater power efficiency of the M1 and M2 processors, and how they have an entire robot dedicated to recycling iPhones. Now, credit where credit is due, these achievements are actually really good for the planet, and they do help the environmental situation. But that isn't the end-all be-all of environmentally conscious, and there are some problems with Apple's approach. The main one is right to repair. In Appleville, if your iDevice has unfortunate breaking, where you actually smash it towards the wall, you're getting so frustrated at your device that you kick it and punch it and break it, well, guess what's going to happen? You have two options. As long as what you broke was an iPhone. If it wasn't, then you only have one option. If you broke your Mac, most times the repair cost would be probably greater than the cost of actually just getting a new one. So you'd have to get a new one, because I think you're smart and you wouldn't spend more money than what you got to get a new, better, faster one. And if you're lucky and you broke your iPhone, well, guess what? You have two options. We have three options. A, you have AppleCare, so they'll automatically do that for you. B, you can go to an Apple store for your replacement, although for whatever reason the replacements are ridiculously expensive. $329 for a screen? No. And third, you can go to the Apple's independent repair web portal. But the thing is that the third option doesn't really make sense, as A, you have the chance of breaking your phone. B, sometimes it costs more money than going to the Apple store to repair it. And at the end of the day, it's really hidden in their website. And when you go to the link, it looks like this. This does not inspire confidence. This looks like some default WordPress template, not an Apple website. And I think what would happen is that most Apple people who obviously care about these stuff more than I do would be like, that's their website? You know what? No, I'm not doing it. And at that point, your only option, if you don't have AppleCare, is just to go to the Apple store and have them do it. So that is pretty bad. And also the other thing is that on their website you have to buy or rent the tools, which they're using use a Boston Dynamics robot to change the oil on your car approach, because the tools are literally in cases that are like 50 pounds, so they're not really user end. And the renting costs $52, and the buy a kit costs more like $500, which is way too expensive for any of us. So, and you can only get parts for an iPhone 12 and newer, but that's due to a thing that Sassy Lab uncovers in one of his videos, so I'm not angry about that. But it also requires an IMEI number, and if you put in the wrong one, you can't use the part as intended. It just won't work, limiting the possibility of non-Apple authorized service providers keeping a stockpile of parts for them to use. So, yeah. And next we'll say, why is this a problem? Well, this is a problem because if fixing your device is more expensive and more time than repairing it, most people will just buy a new one and throw the old one into the garbage, adding more to the e-waste problem. Not only that, it also costs more money than getting a cheap repair. Overall, this is bad for the environment, and no matter how much their products save energy is way more abundant than materials that go into technology stuff. Now, some people have arguments against right to repair. One of them being, I don't want to be forced to repair my own stuff. It's too much work. Well, forcing you to repair your own stuff. If your phone breaks, you can have another person exercise their right to repair and fix it for you. No one is forcing you to fix your own stuff, and no one is forcing Apple to fix their own stuff. And the second excuse I've seen is, what about the brand damage to the company if people use non-standard parts and then it breaks and explodes and it will be in the news or something? Well, you could just install software or firmware lock and that would prevent this. So that's a moot point. If Apple doesn't want to do that, then Apple doesn't want to do that. But we've already seen that has happened with unauthorized screens. So yeah. Now, and also, you can't reverse engineer firmware last time I checked, or it would be really hard to. So there's no way you can really get around this without it being more trouble than it's worth. And the third and final thing I've heard is, what if people do the wrong thing and break the phone? Well, if you break it, Apple's not liable. You have to go out and buy a new one. So I don't get the point there. Either way, now that we've answered all of your questions, we have, why does Apple do this? And it's pretty simple, but just like liking and subscribing the video. And it's because of money. It's obvious that Apple would want you to pay for an expensive repair or get a new iPhone rather than getting a cheap repair. And this actually happened to me, where my Samsung fridge just decided to not work. Well, the touch function does not work, the actual display does. And Samsung says that the repair costs are $1,000. Yeah, that is exorbitant. So obviously I declined because I don't have $1,000 lying in the bank, and if I did, I'd be spending that on a new PC or a new phone, not a new display on my fridge. And also another problem is that Apple markets their small incremental improvements as big new features to get everyone to go buy their product. And that is not desirable, because then when people buy a product, they're just going to throw the old one in the landfill. And the final thing is that this is something that Apple doesn't suffer from, no matter how many times people think they're doing it. But other companies suffer from this problem, and that is planned obsolescence, where companies will intentionally try and make their devices break so that you go and get a new one. And this is a problem because obviously getting a new one means that the old device just gets thrown in the dustbin or sold secondhand, which if you could use it, then you don't need to sell it. Use it, then sell it. Don't sell it and then get a new one and then sell that one and then get a new one. So I'm trying to make you just spend more money, and so there you can pat the executives' wallets and pocketbooks. And now what you can do. Well, first, don't buy things that you don't need, because that's a really good way of killing the environment, because you don't get the stuff and therefore it doesn't need to be produced. And second, you can, once you're done with your iPhone, sell it secondhand, because if you don't want it, there are odds are, unless it's out of the support window, someone will want it. And the final solution is that once it's actually at its end of life and not getting any more software updates, you recycle it. And that's the solution for consumers, because there's not many more levers you can pull. But as for your engineers out there, there are many more that you can pull. First, you can you can remove non-necessary parts from your actual designs. Second, you can design your parts to last longer. And third, you could just make stuff that people actually need and will last a really long time. Well, that's it for today. If you like the video, drop a like. If you want to subscribe, then subscribe. This video here is about the Mac Pro Dub, which I thought was going to be released there, but didn't. Either way, these are the rumors. If you like Tech Talk, either way, have a great day, have a great week. I'm Zeph, this is JZ Tech, and goodbye.